right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of True Table Podcast. Let's make some noise in this joint. Yeah. So today is gonna be a good joint. I know it's been a while since y'all seen me, so like I gotta catch y'all up to what's going on in my life, whatever. So I wanted to do an actual therapy style. So we gotta repeat it. Guess I don't want to say repeat it, but we got my girl back up on the pod. So Ebony, Dr. Ebony. I'm always keep saying doctor.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming.
Um, I need to vent, but I was like, you know what? I know a lot of guys they don't really value therapy. They don't believe in it, especially black people in our culture. So I was like, you know what? I want to bring you back on, and have like a real session. Like none of this stuff is scripted. However it go, it go. Whatever come out, it come out.
Okay.
So I was just like, let me just put it all out there.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm coming out of something like
Well,
it ain't that. It ain't that.
so it's not that, but I want to commend you for
Mhm.
being a man who's open to therapy and the therapeutic process,
Right.
right? Because it's not easy, especially for y'all. As women,
Right,
we talk
right.
all the time, but men, I feel like people don't necessarily offer grace or hold the space
Hmm.
for them to process those things that are weighing down on them.
True,
And
true.
so for all men that decide to say, you know what, I think it's time, I commend y'all. Like,
Yeah.
because that's huge.
I think when as a man, when you know, but I guess it's kind of scary because you be on the fence, like I don't want to put my business out there, or I don't want nobody judging me, whatever. But some people don't give a damn. I mean, like they don't really know you. They ain't like they can legally, just like such and such is in here. He did X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z. So it's like I just feel like at some point in time, I think it's an excuse, or it's like I don't want to say excuse, but it's like kind of like a mask, and you just delaying the process. Like, do you really want to get better, or don't you, or you just want to? You like the tension that come with you being the way that you are, because it's easier to be like that.
It is easier, but you suffer in silence.
Mm-hmm.
But culturally, right? Especially black men or minority men,
Mm-hmm.
right? Y'all are raised to just toughen up, stop
Yeah,
being a wussy,
yeah.
like you know what I mean, all that stuff. But it's
Stop
stop
being a
acting like a
bitch.
girl, yeah. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's embedded in y'all not to talk about what's weighing y'all down, what's
True.
heavy. Like there are so many men suffering from depression,
I,
and that's a hell of a
man,
hole to
you
climb out of.
you talking to me right now.
Hmm.
I found out throughout this whole therapy process. Damn, it been like 2021 ish, something like that. That I'm a functional depressionist. Like
Hmm.
I could handle business, whatever. But like when I first was in it, I didn't know I was in it, and
Yeah.
then I started to see like it'll like my house like I'll see the symbols in my house and like, all right, this is out of order, that need to be cleaned, or bags of clothes, you laundry just piling up, and it's like I don't feel like folding that. So it's like hefty bag on top of hefty bag on top of hefty bag, whatever. You get
Yes.
around and you like, all right, whatever. And then you like, damn, once you realize you like,
It's out of control.
yeah, like, all
And then you
right,
don't know where to start.
don't know where to start.
Hmm.
So like that been a issue like here and there for the last couple of years. But then it's like when you actually find somewhere to start, and you like, this is unlocked to unpack, and then he's like, that's also with your life though too.
Hmm.
So it's like, all right, I know I want this, but I can't get that unless I make space for that.
Yes.
And it's like, I ain't gonna hold you. I heard Steve Harvey say that one time. I was like, that bald head nigga, he know a little something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He know a little something, but it made sense. And I was like, um, you can't keep complaining. You ain't making space for the stuff that you really want. Like, how bad you really want it.
Hmm.
And then one day I was like, all right, like you just really snap out of it, and you like, all right, like I just feel like some days you just really be over shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but when I don't be feeling like that, or I having days like I know I'm over it, but it's like I can't get myself to be over it. I don't know. So it's like, what is that called?
Remember how when you were little, so I like to use
That was a long time.
analogies, right? But remember when you were little and like maybe you would
Mm.
play with your cousins or your siblings and
Mhm.
like they would like jump out the closet and put a blanket over your head and kind of
I don't know.
like
Some jumped out. I know one cousin jumped out the closet. He ain't never jumped back
not
in.
jumping out like that, but like just in the spirit of like trying to scare you or like
Yeah,
think about
yeah, yeah,
anybody
yeah.
throwing a blanket or something
Right.
over your face and now you can't see and you're tussling trying to
Mm-hmm.
get out of it. That's the same way it is with a lot of mental health issues.
Dang.
It just kind of pops up at you. Like a lot of times there aren't a slew of triggers or warning signs,
True.
because if
True.
you're doing life every day,
There's
you
no
just
warning.
wake up one day and you're like, how did all those clothes pile up? How
I ain't even aware of
how
all
aren't
this.
those dishes done? You know what I mean?
Man, you know that's a trigger for me.
Yes, but I
Mm.
mean, again, like sometimes there aren't any warning signs,
Yeah.
and I think it's once you're aware that your life has become unmanageable or
Mm-hmm.
that things are extremely different for you,
Right.
that's when it's time to take
Actions.
action. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that that's where it starts. So that's why I always praise men that come in for therapy because it's like because you're aware, now we can
Yeah.
work on something. It's different when you're like, ain't
No,
nothing
no.
wrong with me. Like I
They be
got
the
this,
ones. They be the one
and everything around you is spiraling.
spiraling.
Yeah.
Like my analogy last couple of weeks is like life is really like a pop up quiz.
Hmm.
Like you think you cool everything fine and dandy, then you big sky daddy like here's your test. You like
Yeah.
God damn, I ain't even
Listen.
ready for it, and then you just fail miserably, and you like maybe I ain't as ready as I thought I was. And you like, all right, what I gotta work on? Damn, I gotta put this effort in this. I gotta carve out time for that. You like, then you come to the conclusion, just ain't enough hours in the day.
Well, I think too, like getting it out of your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things as simple as writing it down, because we hold so much junk in our head. And I
Right,
equate it to having a whole bunch of tabs open,
like computer
like on a
tabs.
computer, like when you're just clicking,
Yeah,
clicking, 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 and then
yeah.
everything is open. And at a certain point, you got to start closing some stuff in order to open
Mm,
other stuff. It's the same with our brain. So, like, if we don't get that
I like
stuff
that one.
out,
I
you
like
know what
that.
I mean? Then there is no space,
True.
And so also understanding that we're human, you can't possibly get everything done
Right.
in a day. And so we call it chunking, So it's like
Chunking.
chunking. Yeah. So it's like, okay, if I have a list of 20 things
Okay.
versus me working to against the clock, I can say, I'm going to take 3 things off of this list
Okay.
and I'm going to be intentional about getting those 3 things done.
3 out of 20.
I'm just saying, you got to start
That's all.
somewhere.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
they say? What is the thing? How do you eat an elephant?
You don't.
Well, they say one one bite at a time. I wouldn't want any elephant, but you know what I mean. So it's
Right.
like with anything, one step at a time, one day
Okay.
at a time, 1 hour at a
I
time.
mean that makes sense. You did. I guess you got to start chiseling somewhere. Like Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's it.
Um. So yeah. So it's been a while since I really did like a heart to heart episode,
Hmm.
and I was like, it's been a lot going on. So as you know, a few months ago, I had that crazy car accident.
Hmm.
So viewers, family, table mates. I was in accident. Me and my daughter was in an accident. This was like April, April, early April.
Hmm.
Um, long story short, somebody rear-ended us. We was at a standstill. Smacked the whole car. Put the trunk in the back seat. Spun the whole car around. Uh, airbags went off. Uh, I was going through my emotions. My daughter, she passed out. She had a concussion. It was a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. So we got rushed to the hospital.
Hmm.
My car was totaled. Um, I had to wind up getting like a little surgery done. My daughter got to go physical therapy, stuff like that. So it's like we was tore up. But the crazy part about it was I never seen the guy up to this day. I knew what he was driving, but never seen him. He was in the wrong. The police officer told me that he had warrants. His registration was fake.
Okay.
Everything was fake. So it's basically to the point where I can't even really go after him legally because like he ain't got nothing.
Right.
Last I remember he was locked up. So it's like I've been dealing with that, and that put me in a crazy headspace. Then we lost the studio. So it's like I couldn't put out no episodes. My cameras went out. So it was like that's just the top couple things that was happening. And it
Okay.
was like, all right, then dealing with stuff with work. It was a new job, whatever. I had to leave, take a couple weeks off for that, or so it was like so much was going on. I couldn't even make no content, but I was stuck in my head like, what is the purpose of all this? Like I don't know. So it's just like I was like in a real dark space.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was having issues with family members. My mom moved. It was just like I couldn't get a grasp of life, and I'm just like, am I letting people down because I'm not updating them or letting them know what's going on? Like, is it even a business? It's not. I don't know. I was containing so much
Yeah.
emotions and stuff like that, and then I wasn't able to go to therapy like that. I just do it remotely, and I'm not really good with remote therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't, I like
It's
sitting
a
on y'all.
different field.
Yeah, it's like I like sitting on y'all couches for some
Yeah.
reason. Like y'all got the best snacks.
We try.
But it's just something totally different. It's like so it's like I was working on trying to get back um in that kind of headspace, and it was like every time I tried to get a couple steps forward,
Mm-hmm.
life just kept hitting me back and hitting me back. I'm like, maybe I'm not supposed to make content. Maybe I'm not like what am I supposed to be learning from the situation? And I think I was doing way too much ripping and running, um, just burning myself out to the point where like God was like, no, you gotta sit down. Like I've been telling you for years, you need to sit down. I'm gonna make you sit down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, like I hear you now, but it's just like, God damn, like so when the doctors kept coming to my house all day, feeding me IVs and checking my blood pressures and putting me on different medications,
Mm-hmm.
it was just like, damn, like I really supposed to have been dead. Like just looking at that car, and there's like so much money I put into the car, and I didn't even have it that long, but it just was like, damn, just a couple seconds prior, my daughter was in the car, or she was riding the wheel, or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was dead the way she was screaming, and then all of a sudden she just was just quiet. So then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Mind you, I'm doing that on her face, but it's like I
Yes.
gotta wake you up. I don't know what else to do. Like I'm paranoid, scared. So just
Mm-hmm.
like once I got her up, it was like all right, cool. But then kids being kids, she looking for her phone. Oh,
Of
she
course.
going off like you see what just happened. She didn't care, but she was so
Mm-mm.
out of it. Um, her eyes were just all over the place. Whatever, and I had so much adrenaline pumping, and then like my legs was just burning hot. Like it was
Yes.
just like on fire. Come to find out, um, like off from all the glass and the
Mm-hmm.
the
The
fiber
shards.
the fiberglass from the center console and all of the airbags, whatever, it went into my leg. And they weren't trying to hear none of that for when I went to the hospital, the first hospital, and then like a couple weeks went past, and then I saw like the holes in my leg,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had to dig into it. I was like, this is different. Like
Yeah.
that was some pain. Like it like it's physical, but it was also like once I got past the physical part, it was more so emotional,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, I don't know what to do next. Like they're gonna chop my leg off. Like I don't know, but they just like
Yeah.
this ain't looking good. So it's like,
And then the fear that you can't really express.
yeah, yeah. And then I was just like, I, I being told I can't leave my house. It just I don't know. It's like you paying bills, somebody telling you no, you can't leave here. Like if you do, like it's gonna be something else, like legally or like I don't know. But it just I I didn't know how to handle that, and I don't even know if I handled it appropriately. Because I
Mm-hmm.
still wanted to record. I'm like, I gotta figure out how to get this out. But like,
Yeah.
I just had to compress it. And I was like, I don't do well with holding stuff in as good as I used to. Like back in the day, I could hold in whatever. Now I gotta let it out somehow, some way. So it's like I think everybody needs the outlet.
I was going to say, but you also have experience with therapy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so you know the benefit of getting it out and not holding it in. And I tell people all the times, like when you hold stuff in, it creates other issues,
Yeah,
like
that's
health
true.
issues, right? And
That's true.
so emotions that are not released can build some physical ailments
Mm,
for individuals, and so I think that's why the conversations are necessary, you know. Also during that time, you just described a whole bunch of stuff, right?
mhm.
So then we have like and I'm not going to diagnose you, right? But
No, please
if we
do.
had to think about things like you had the PTSD behind the car accident,
Mhm,
that's trauma,
mhm,
seeing your daughter pass out, another layer of trauma, right?
mhm.
Anything that changes life as you know it suddenly can fall under that category. And what's traumatic to you might not be traumatic to the
Yeah,
next person.
that's true.
So nobody really gets to tell you how to act or to react to something that you witnessed.
Right.
Um, Probably the ruminating thoughts, like constantly seeing that car accident play over and over and over in your
Yeah.
head.
I never peeped how many Volvo trucks is out in the street.
Yes.
Never. Like
Yes. You become hyper alert. You
I
know what I
see them now
mean?
and I just get real nervous. Or if I'm at a light, I see myself just keep looking in the rearview mirrors because I think that somebody's never going to apply
Hmm.
the brakes.
Yeah. And then as somebody is coming up, how you might tense up on the wheel. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Hmm.
you're looking, but your body remembers that that happened, and so it's all connected. The cognitive distortions of, am I letting everybody down? Am I not supposed to be making content?
Right.
This shouldn't be happening. This is happening. Why? You know what I mean? And so when we think about cognition and the way that we think,
Hmm.
all of that ties into our mental state.
Oh, okay. So what would be okay? So when those triggers come about, 'cause I remember like I was from Gip here. He told me like, all right, when you're being triggered, look at 5 things in the room, do
Mhm.
the countdown. But it's like once you get past that and new triggers are I don't want to say implemented, but they arrived. How do you what would be some good advice for me to process like that those emotions in real
I
time?
I always tell people to look at the facts, right?
Hmm.
Am I safe right now?
Hmm.
Right? Okay, yes, it's another Volvo, but does that mean every Volvo is going to hit me?
Right.
Right? The fact of the matter is, no, that was an isolated incident. Like you said, you guys were at a standstill and
Hmm.
then the Volvo comes, right?
Hmm.
So every Volvo is not that. Just like in a relationship, right? Like if you have a piss poor relationship and then you deal with somebody new, you
Ooh,
can't
child.
put that on that other person,
Right,
right?
right, right,
Because
right.
everybody isn't them.
Yeah,
Everybody's not out to get you, everybody's not out to hurt you. So
that's
I
true.
think reminding yourself in those moments, like, I am safe.
Mhm.
That Volvo is not that Volvo,
Mm,
right? I can't control what comes next.
right.
So I could be hyper alert, but I'm spinning my marbles, or I'm on
Mhm.
this hamster wheel, which
Right.
becomes exhausting.
Hell yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I have to breathe through it. Something as
Mm.
simple as that, because when
Shout out to Tony Braxton.
come on, come on, Tony. But something as simple as reminding yourself to breathe,
Right,
because when we have those experiences, naturally we tense up and we hold our breath.
right.
And you probably hold your breath more times than you realize throughout the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's why I'm big on bubbles. I should have bought my bubbles in for the show. I
You
got
sh-
some cigarette bubbles. We could have been
oh, you old school for real.
listen, yeah. All right, I got you next time.
All right. Um. So okay. So I learned what that situation was. I was like, one of my fears is like, okay, I flipped a car over before when I was, I think Aaliyah was like 3 or 4, and I didn't go on like on that part of the highway for like 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a long period of time. I can't really remember, but this situation, I was like, I have to get over this fear of ASAP. Like, I got to get back behind the wheel. I got to drive through there just to see what was going on, and it was like it was so crazy because she just got in the car. I
Hmm.
just picked up from work. It was like 8 o'clock. Picked up from work. We was hit by 8:09,
Hmm.
and then when we called you like the next day or something like that, or
And I had rode past that accident. I was trying to get me some lamb chops.
yeah, from Longhorn, Parmesan crusted ain't bring a
Yes.
player shit, but
Oh God, yes. And
mm,
I saw all the commotion and I got off and went the other way. And then yes, you called and said we were in a real bad car accident. No, y'all called me that night.
what's in,
It was late.
oh yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
Aaliyah was shooken up and she,
yeah,
yeah.
damn sure did.
hmm
And shit, at least you answer the phone after hours.
I was going to say, well, I
'Cause-
think that sometimes when it comes to what we do,
yeah,
we do go above and beyond. And
hmm
those are the things that we don't look for credit, but if
yeah,
if y'all are calling me at a certain time of night, I know something must be up,
yeah,
and so you kind of look at patterns too. Like
true.
if it's somebody calling me every single night, like you might got to wait until
No, you got to
you got to
bill
do that
them.
24
You
hours,
got to bill them.
but for something like that, I'm like something has to be up for
hmm
them to reach out to me at this time.
Hell yeah.
So I am glad that I answered, but I think that a lot of times when it comes to providing the services and doing the work that we do,
Mm,
it doesn't stop at 5 o'clock. It doesn't stop
true.
when the workday is over.
I don't know. When I first met you, you said, "Sir, my hours are from 9 to 5." Okay, Big
Listen,
Red.
listen.
I was like, "Damn," but I get
But
it. But I got it though.
I also give the disclaimer, you can
Yeah,
call or text me, right? I might not get
you
back
did
to
say that. You
you
did say that.
that same
You
evening,
did say
but you
that.
can text me, and so I'm real big on that.
I was like, "Lady, I got some shit going on." Like, what you mean? But at that time, I was panicking. So like, I was just trying to make sure that my child
Yeah.
was getting what she needed. Like, damn, that was a long time ago. God. So I said to say, how do you feel about parents actually getting their kids into therapy or like coming to your office early on? Like, is that something that is like case by case situation, or do you recommend like all like minority kids seek like that kind of guidance, or like how you
I think
feel
it's
about it?
always good for kids to have an outlet. My
Mhm.
biggest thing that I've seen over the years, and I've been doing this for a really long time, um, is when parents are like, my kid is acting out or my kid needs therapy. They need to talk to somebody, da 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 da. Then you talk to the kid and you meet with the parent,
Mhm.
and then you're like, but have you considered
You the problem.
therapy? Yeah, and it's like a lot of times parents will sign their kids up, but then they remove themselves like, "Oh, I don't
Mhm.
have any issues. Just fix my kid, work with my kid."
Right.
And so I think the way that I practice too, like if something comes up, I bring the parents in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's not solely just the kid.
Right.
Because there are
Right.
times where we need to have conversations as
That's true.
adults in order to help the little person,
That's
but
true.
I do think that culturally, we just need to normalize the use of therapy and not look at it as something bad or negative or
Right.
a waste of time. Because a lot of people still have that mindset that it's a waste of time. Like go to the church or I'm gonna beat you. You know what I
We're
mean?
gonna pray it out
We're
you.
gonna pray it out. Yeah. And so, or you're just constantly on punishment. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
let's figure out what's at the root of that you
Mm,
know um
that's true.
and so yeah, I do think that we're introducing it earlier. I do a lot of stuff with social emotional learning,
That's true.
and through patchwork we work with like preschoolers as well, and some people will be like, well, preschoolers don't need therapy.
You'd be
Well,
surprised.
you'll be surprised, a
You'd be
lot of
surprised.
stuff comes out in play.
Yeah.
Those tantrums just aren't tantrums all the time.
And I also learned I am hungry. I learned that also. Um, sometimes you can't let your kids play all everybody kids,
You can't.
because you
They'll
start
learn a lot of stuff.
a whole lot of stuff. You like, hold up, don't bring that on my house. You can't play
Yeah.
with this kid, or they famous line when we were growing up. That kid a little bit too fresh, and
That's a real thing.
you like it's a reason why, and you like you just never know. But I mean, I see why some people don't want to deal with it, but it's like sometimes it's like you then again, we live in a world where you can't say nothing to nobody or say
Everybody's super sensitive.
yeah. So it's like I don't know, but you be sitting there wondering like, damn, I feel bad for that kid, or I don't know. I need some chips.
Oh, I didn't even know that's what that
Yeah,
was.
my stomach. Listen, I am starving. I done worked today. I done been
Mm.
preparing. It,
You don't got
and
justified. It's okay.
it's a lot going on, but I tell you, I'm going to work through it though.
Okay.
But yeah, it'd be a lot of stuff going on. I just feel like what other like with kids, and it's like you see the signs, and it's like, do you mind your business or do you speak up? And it's like you want to be there for the kid, but sometimes it comes with a lot of backlash.
It definitely comes with a lot of backlash. And as a therapist, most of us have to have the hard conversations. And I think just modeling it, I think
Hmm.
so many times kids don't get what they need because parents don't want to jeopardize adult relationships.
Right, right,
But if something comes up, I'm gonna have the conversation with you. I don't
hmm
necessarily need to have it in a group setting,
right.
but I'm gonna say, hey, like, did you notice da 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 da? Or I
Yeah,
noticed. And if you take offense to it, like as your friend, you should know that I'm
yeah,
not coming to you
yeah.
to be harmful or ill mannered, right? And
Hmm.
so if I say something and it tarnishes the relationship, I've learned over the years to be okay with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people can't sit in that. But that's not my job. That's not my
It ain't.
problem.
It ain't.
And so I think we have to model that. I think at the end of the day, kids will be able to say, well, Miss Eb or Auntie Eb, or
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And so they will remember
True.
so and so tried to help me, or they tried to share with you,
Yeah.
or
They don't be.
like
It'd be
kids pay
amazing what they
attention.
remember and what they forget. So
Yeah.
I agree. If you made it this far, then I know you're digging the content. So why you ain't hit that like button? Better yet, why you ain't hit the subscribe button? You don't fuck with the True Table? You want to be lied to? No, we don't do that at the True Table. So what I need y'all to do is hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, even comment. Do something, but keep me in the algorithm. Now back to the regular scheduled program.
I think creating the space, right? And it might start off small. And I think for you guys, especially if you're like, okay, me and three of my homies, we meet once a month so that we can just vent and put it all out on the table so that we can hold space for each other. Right. And then from that meeting of three, the next time all of y'all might bring one extra person. So now we have six.
Yeah,
And then
plus
people
one.
walk away feeling like that felt really good to get that off my chest,
Hmm.
because again, I feel like women, we do it all the time.
Like a sister circle.
A sister circle. We do retreats all the time. It's not that often that you hear about a male driven retreat.
We do. We doing it the DR.
Oh God.
We doing Columbia. We just being men.
Yeah, but let's be
But no,
men
yeah,
and start modeling for the younger generation, like how important it is to discuss your emotions, to talk about certain things, and not to be teased for doing it.
right,
You
right,
know, like you just like you said, you went through all of this stuff. That was traumatic, like not knowing if your daughter was okay. You should
that
have
was
had
rough.
another man that you could have called. And if you started crying during that conversation, for him not to bust out laughing, like, yo, my nigga, get yourself together.
Yeah,
Da, 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 da.
I might have had to.
But
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like,
right.
it's normal to clown one another when
Hmm.
you're emotional versus saying, yo, chill, like let him get that out. And
Hmm.
so that's what I love about doing social emotional learning with middle school boys, because
Mm.
they're getting the opportunity to get stuff out. They're getting an opportunity to know what it's like to hold space for your brothers,
True.
right? And so one person might bust out laughing because they're uncomfortable,
Right.
right? That's nervous
Right.
energy. And then the rest of the room would be like, yo, that's not funny. Like he
Right.
just lost somebody and you're laughing. Or he's worried about being deported and you're laughing. That's not
Damn,
a laughing matter. That's real life stuff.
that's heavy.
And so, but imagine being a middle schooler carrying that weight
Yeah, and can't do nothing
versus
about
a
it.
30, 40-year-old, 50-year-old man carrying it, right?
It's grown people that can't handle that.
It's grown people, but these kids carry so much. And so when I get to go in and work with them, it
Right.
just really brings me so much joy when they can like really understand the importance of being open, being vulnerable, talking about their feelings, shedding a tear if they have to, and not
Right.
feeling like they've been
Like judge or something like that.
judged, or like it takes away their masculinity, because it doesn't. you know, and then they'll grow up to be men that have balance of strength and vulnerability.
I remember the first time I cried in front of my therapist, and I was just like, it was just a river just flowing in front. I'm like,
You tried to fight it too,
I
didn't you?
tried to. I'm like, he probably think I'm a bitch. Like it was so much going on. I remember we was having a conversation. I think at my 5-year mark, it was
Mm-hmm.
coming up, and he was like, "It been 5 years since I first met you." He's like, "You was a mess. You was just tore up." Where
Yeah.
he was just keeping it all the way real. And he was like, "You did so much progression and stuff like that. It seemed like highs, lows, and just saw me rich. You saw me poor. You saw me just cool, and then he saw me barely making it. It was so
Yeah.
many different levels he's seen me at, and it was just like some stuff I forgot. But
We don't forget.
the one thing I noticed, y'all stayed jotting, like it be them jotting. So, and I had a couple friends, like actual like real good friends, whatever that been on the show, and they wasn't really messing with therapy like that.
Yeah.
And then they saw how I was just staying with it, so they was asking me certain questions. Like I'm not saying I'm the reason why they did it,
Yeah.
but I think I made them more comfortable with that decision, and they was
Yeah.
like they really benefited from it.
And
So
you talked about it openly,
hell
right?
yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm going to see my therapist. I catch up with y'all in an
Yeah,
hour.
man, Wednesdays was my day. I couldn't wait.
Listen, yeah,
I could not wait.
yeah. And I think it starts there, you know, and they're like, yo, he tough. Like if he can do it, I could do it. You know what I mean? So it's one of
Hmm.
those things. So I think again, just being able to normalize it and not feel like you're weak for saying I need to talk to somebody.
True. Okay, I got a good point. So, how do you feel about people? And I'm not going genderize this, but how do you feel about people that weaponizes therapy? Like, for example, they think they're better than, or they'll try to manipulate you, like, oh, I go to therapy, or I'm this, I'm that, whatever, and they really try to run their whole movie on you, but they not going to therapy for the right reasons. But
Um, well, first of all, that's a problem,
hmm
but it's a them problem,
hmm
you know, and I think it's important to be aware when people are trying to weaponize it. It's just like people, and I'm gonna say Christians,
mm,
right? Like people in the church that say,
don't,
"Oh, I'm a
please don't get us
Christian,"
canceled.
and they're like the most judgmental people that you know, right? And so those are real things. And then on the flip side of it,
You said it, not me, but I'll agree.
I did, but just so
Yeah,
that people can make the
yeah,
connection,
that's
right?
true.
So it's like really it's one and the same. And so, but on the flip side of it, there are people who will say, "Oh, you think you're better because
Yeah,
you're in therapy. Oh, your
yeah,
therapist told you to say that."
hmm
And a person shouldn't have to defend
at
going
all,
to therapy,
at all.
you know. And so I tell people like, you don't even have to respond to that.
You don't.
You know, it's a simple okay.
And people like that, they'll play themselves out your life
Yes.
real quick.
Yes.
Um, and they be thinking they got it all together, and
The whole
whole time
time.
you the devil, you the problem.
Yeah.
Um, you the reason why your kids don't want to be around you. You're lonely. You're broke and broken, and they try to bring that energy into your world, and you like stay over
One
there,
of my favorite
stay
songs is
over
by
there.
Michael Jackson,
Which one?
Man in the Mirror.
Not a man in the mirror.
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Because some people
Why?
need to know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it starts with you.
True.
You know, like, what do you see when you look in the mirror? So you can go out here and be nasty and mean to
Hmm.
everybody, but at the end of the day, it's you looking at you.
That's
And are
true.
you satisfied with what you see?
I don't think they are.
Me either.
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of times they um they mess up a lot of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Or just like it be them same kind of women that will be so heartbroken, or they just going through whatever, and they have nobody, but they son might have a beautiful relationship, and they like them. I learned a long time ago that sometimes your mom could be your biggest hater or your first hater,
Yeah.
and it's like a lot of women don't want to acknowledge that, whatever, but it's a real thing, and you like, damn, somebody's supposed to love me, somebody's supposed to that just bring life, breathe life into me, or give me those kind of
And can't give me the
affirmations,
blessing.
all that,
Yeah.
and the whole time you really hating on me, like you jealous of me, and it's like that's not my situation, whatever. But
Yeah,
I at
but
one
it
point
is
in
a real
time,
thing.
at one point in time, I had those kind of emotions though when I was younger, and then as you get older, you start to see certain stuff, whatever. Like you get to live and you grow, but
Mhm.
it's just like that's a real thing, and I don't think we talk about that a lot in our
We don't.
communities.
But I think so many, and I'll say women, and I'm only going to say women
Hmm.
because men too, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna say women for the sake of so I'm working on my dissertation and I have like a soft spot for
what's that for people who don't know?
it's the
Some people
paper
don't know.
it's the paper you have to do to get your doctorates, right?
Oh, is
So
that like the that doctor, that woman?
no.
Mm,
Cheyenne.
yeah,
No, no, no. Um why you have to bring her up? But
because a lot of people was going in about that word. So I was trying to
yeah, yeah,
bring the
yeah.
references. You gotta
No.
catch up.
Mm-mm.
We entertaining.
I know, but yeah, we're not the
Yeah.
same. And so
Pop it.
yeah, so I'm putting in the work to do that. But one of the
Hmm.
areas of study that I originally wanted to focus on
Right.
was the trauma that's passed down,
Yeah.
right?
Generational trauma. Yeah.
Generational trauma and
Hmm.
how it impacts the way that women move through life. It impacts the way that they
Okay.
parent, right? So if the grandmom operates in a certain way or she treats men a certain
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
naturally her daughter's gonna
Yeah.
think it's okay because that was normalized,
Hmm.
right? And then you get to the granddaughter who says, "No, I love this man, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to put in to see what it's going to take for this
Right.
to work. And as long as he's not stepping out on me, and as long as he's not disrespecting me, right? I don't have to treat men the way that
That part.
mommy and grandmom
That part.
treated men. You know what I mean? And it's the same with men. Like
Mm.
things are passed down. If a
Yeah.
guy
Hell
grows
yeah.
up in a household where the dad is always cursing everybody out, normally that son curses everybody out. And then the
Hmm.
grandson
They
is
normalize
like,
it.
I'm gonna be a little more nurturing because I
Hmm.
don't want my son to feel what I felt growing up. Right. So it changes at some point. But I do think that all of that is a conversation that a lot of people aren't willing to touch because they don't want to stir the pot. They
Right.
don't want
Right.
to
Right.
upset
Right.
the granddad or the dad, right? And it's
Man,
like I'd
please.
rather just create distance so that I don't offend you, but that distance doesn't help heal the family
Is,
lineage.
would that be called, or would they be considered the black sheep of the family?
The cycle breakers,
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Because you're going against the grain. You're
Yeah.
doing something different. You want something different. Think about it. Like you said, I've experienced being rich. I've experienced being down.
Hmm.
Once you hit a certain milestone,
Hmm.
then the conversation changes. Oh, he thinks he's better than, or he's always taking his daughter somewhere, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
where he get that
I
from?
heard a lot of those
All
conversations
all of that
before.
stuff, right? But then it's easy for you to internalize it if you're not self-aware.
True.
And so now I internalize it and I'm straddling the fence because it's like, but I love y'all. Y'all are my family. Like, why are y'all treating me this way? But then on the other side, you're like, I work hard. I bust my ass to get here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I want to do something different. I want my daughter to see something different.
I
And
I
that part is okay.
I think a lot of times I don't think they be mad at you. I think they be mad at themselves. Like you said, it's a mirror. It's like I'm a reflection of, all right, you had the same 24 hours I had. We came from the same spot. We slept in the
Yeah.
same bed. So it's like we come from the same situation. So it's like, why you ain't apply yourself? Or I don't know, you had the same kind of opportunity, but you
Yeah.
chose not to. I think it all boils down to a choice. And
Decisions. Yep.
people choose whether they want to do right, people choose that they want to do wrong, and they choose they want to be stuck on bullshit. And I think people are a lot of times they're comfortable with bullshit because there's no effort that has to be implemented.
It's easier to say,
Mm.
this is just who I am.
Who
I've always been
who
this
said
way.
that?
Why do I have to change now?
Yeah.
It's worked all my life. Yeah, it's
And
worked
look where it
back
got
then.
you.
Look where it got you.
Look where it got you.
Yeah. And so I think that that's a big thing,
Hmm.
and that's one of the beauties of living life. Like each day we have the opportunity to do something different.
True.
We have the opportunities to get it right. So okay,
Mm.
maybe I didn't do it in my 20s,
Right.
but in my 40s, I really want something to be different.
Yeah.
I'm jumping off of the hamster wheel and I'm a power forward. And
Hmm.
one thing that we know for certain is it can happen in God's speed. It doesn't have to take you long. So you don't even have to sit and ruminate on the fact that I wasted 20 years. Because did you really waste it? Or did you build upon the experiences that you had within that 20 years?
In these 20 years, time, if you notice, time is on crack. I don't remember time being the same time it was when I
It's
was a
different.
child.
Hmm.
Like when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to grow up. 9 times out of 10, it was because I wanted to drive and have sex. Now I'm older. I barely want to drive. I don't even get the sex I want. Just keep it all the way real. But it's just like it's just amazing how time will. You look at that capsule, you like
Your
that was
priorities shift.
totally shift.
Yeah.
Totally.
And that's how it's supposed to be, right? Like that's the evolution of getting older.
You ain't supposed to fuck.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you look at
I am
things
tired.
differently. Yeah, he's tired and he's hungry. But you look at things completely different through a different lens. And it's like, while all of that is
Yeah,
nice, it
yeah.
doesn't drive me.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'm not as impressed by certain things. My cousin said to me, and I hope he watches this when
Please.
you drop it, but he said to me one time, he was like, "Yo, a nigga could pull up at your house with a helicopter talking about I'm gonna take you to dinner," and you'll be like,
Not a helicopter.
"Cause," but honestly, I'm not impressed
She's like, my
by.
last one got a jet.
Listen, but I'm not impressed by
Right.
a lot of those things. As
Okay.
we get older, I'm more impressed by character.
Yeah, stuff you can't buy.
I'm more impressed by consistency. I'm more impressed by the ability to communicate.
Come on
You
now.
know what I mean? And
Come
so it's
on
like
now.
all of that other stuff. I don't need that.
You don't.
I don't need that. I could sit in a rocking chair on the porch and sip some tea or
Yeah, with
Hennessy.
some 90s.
Yes, it's the 90s.
Man, that's a
Yes.
time. Play a little Uno.
Dance around in your own kitchen. Like, you know what I mean? So it's little
You got
stuff.
stamps.
I don't. I wish I
I
did.
wish I did too.
We was just talking about that, but
My God.
but
Just be hungry.
we make a way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it is that, like you said, everybody has the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
Some of us are starting behind the mark. Some of us have a head start,
Sure.
but the majority of us are starting behind the mark. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because you see a person moving forward, it doesn't necessarily mean that it came with ease,
No,
you
not at
know?
all.
And I
Not
think
at
that's
all.
the part that a lot of people ignore. I think that again, those are the things that people find themselves coming to therapy for,
Hmm.
because they're like, I don't understand why everybody treats me this way.
Yeah,
And I don't put out the same energy.
that's true. I think so. I've been battling this for the last couple months or weeks,
Okay.
however. I'm gonna say since spring. I think when it comes to being in therapy, it's a bittersweet thing.
Okay.
It's a catch 22. Like you're learning you're learning new tactics, a new way of life. You're given the tools to navigate these waters.
Hmm.
And then the flip side is once you get in these waters, it's like, oh, now I know, or there's a shark over there, there's a whale over there, uh, there's a little guppy over there, and it's like I can't bleed because if I bleed, they gonna the whole pack gonna
They're
be on my
coming.
ass.
Hmm.
So it's like I said to say, using that metaphor, it's like dealing with the life I've been living. It's like fuck it. Dealing with family once you go through therapy,
Hmm.
they I don't think they talk about that too much, right? Because like they know you as one part, or they might see you as that little person that they help raise or whatever. But they always will see you like that, no matter how old you get or how tall you get or whatever. And they like that's the only image that they know you of. It's like you done grew 1,000 times since the
Yeah.
last time you seen me. And it's like, I don't know if they know how to respect it or whatever, but I'm like, I know I've been dealing with that. Like I had to fall back. Like even like friends, family, stuff like that. It's like I need a break. And I'm noticing when my breaks is like it's not a week or two. I done looked up. I barely talked to a family
Six
member.
months,
No, it's damn near
2
going on.
years.
It's damn near going on like 9.
Okay.
So it's like, and then I got a thing with being catfished or um that's like a real trigger for me with just being manipulated. Like
So,
that, I noticed that I don't do well with that at
and you
all.
shouldn't have to. And so what I heard was I learned how to set a boundary, right?
Okay.
I learned how to stand up for myself. I learned
Mm-hmm.
how to advocate for myself. I
Mm-hmm.
learned how to create distance when it doesn't serve me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like if I know that there's a fire behind door 3, why would I keep going to door 3 if
Mm-hmm.
I've already gone to door 3 my whole life and I walked out with all these burns, right? At a certain point, I'm like, I don't want to get burnt anymore.
At all.
And I'm walking past door 3, you
But they be
know.
so comfortable with burning you though.
They do,
That's the crazy part.
but think about how we say we teach people how to treat us,
Yeah, that's true.
right? And so it's
That's
the
true.
practice that goes into it. You talked earlier about the test that God gives you and you keep failing, failing, failing.
Mm-hmm.
What if this is just part of that test, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can love you at
Okay.
a distance.
That's true.
And if I know,
That's true.
prime example, if I know that every time you call me is drama or every time you call me you need something
Or you just offering lies.
or you're not being honest, right? Why would I allow that to penetrate my ear gates?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At a certain point, I have to say, they could leave me a message.
That part.
Right?
That
I
part.
may or may not listen. I know my voicemail is full more times than not, right?
You
But
ain't never
but I
lied,
may
yo.
or may not listen to it, but
Mm-hmm.
I can control that part.
Yeah.
But then am I going to be more mad at myself if I show up at that event and you come
Mm-hmm.
at me with this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
If I answer your call and you're immediately dumping,
Mm-hmm.
or if I call you back and it immediately goes to that, now I'm like, I knew it,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right. Right.
after a while, you get tired of the I knew it to I'm just going to chill and I have a right to protect my peace and my space.
That's true.
And so
But
I,
they make you feel some kind of way about
they
that
make you
though.
feel some kind of way, but I think too, in therapy, that's where you learn to peel back those layers and to say, I have to release myself of the guilt that I feel
Right.
for creating this boundary.
True.
Especially early on in the test, it's hard because you're like, oh, I don't want them to be upset or I don't want them to
Man,
feel no
fuck
kind
them.
of way. But what about you?
Man, you left to deal with all the BS.
Yeah.
So, um,
And you worked hard to create a different type of lifestyle. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
So, what do you say about people that create boundaries and then people that create walls? Like, because I feel like sometimes there's nothing wrong with boundaries, but sometimes they weaponize them walls though too. And like they're never going to drop their defense or whatever. You can have all the good intentions in the world, but it's like, do you suggest people still waste their time? Or I'm not gonna say waste their time, but should they spend more time really being there for that person, or do you just know when to fall back and like, you know what?
I think at a certain point you have to accept where a person is. And
Okay.
so you know the therapy language acceptance is huge.
Hmm.
Right. And so I think that if a person has a boundary, yes, I can respect your boundary.
Right.
But if you have built this wall and I keep trying to get to you and you're not letting me in,
Right.
now is it hurting you by trying to keep doing that? Right. And if so, you have to get to or come to grips or to terms with I have to accept that this is where that person is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you've shown them everything, right, you don't get to dictate or
You
decide when that
don't.
wall comes
You
down.
don't.
So it's one of those things where you just have to fall into it and be like, okay, like if that's where you choose to be,
Hmm.
I can accept that. And then you start doing the healing on your part.
Yeah.
Right. And so people have different reasons as to why they put up walls, but then sometimes they put up walls and they end up losing out. Right.
That's true.
And if, again, we don't have to circle back to that to be like, I told you. It's none of that. It could be when you're
You
ready,
definitely told him.
or yeah, but it's like, again, if you have that wall and you're like, I'm not letting nobody in,
Yeah. Yeah.
now you suffer.
How about that?
Right? Until
How about
you
that?
decide, just like we talked about the depression, until you decide, oh, I gotta do something different,
Yeah.
and then in doing something different,
Yeah.
we talk a lot about making amends and like how do you come back to those people
I'm
after?
dealing with that now. Like I really, it's like you, especially when you love them,
Mm-hmm.
but you just know in your heart like they not going to change. Like it's like the world may end faster before they change. Like I have to, I have to really accept you for who you are and where you at.
Yeah.
But I also gotta alter my interactions with you. And it's like I love you, but it's like you on bullshit. And I'm just not
I
there.
love you and you can't be in my space. I love
Yeah,
you and I have too much to lose. I love
yeah,
you, but you've hurt me one too many times.
yeah,
Like all of that can go hand in hand.
yeah.
Like we think that everything has to be linear. It doesn't.
No,
You
I don't
know,
know.
when life is life and when people are peopling, it's like, okay, how
Hmm.
okay, if it's a high tide, then we jump in. If it's a low tide,
Yeah,
then we got a little more ground. You know what I
because
mean? So
because these people nowadays, they will show their whole ass and get mad that you won't allow them to use you. Like, wait, what?
and I always tell people too in therapy and just in general, like stop defending your boundary, stop defending your position. You don't have to do that.
True.
Right. And so yeah, you can show your whole ass and you know
Yeah,
that you showed your whole ass.
yeah.
I don't even have to speak to that.
Because
Right.
you was there when you did it.
Yeah. Or if someone does something and, you know, you don't have to speak on everything. You
Yeah,
can bow out gracefully,
yeah.
and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, you showed me your hand or you showed me your ass and I'm cool off of that.
True. Or and I noticed though too that there's power in saying no.
A lot.
It's so much power in saying no, and it's like I think I had to relearn that. Just being
Hmm.
all real, because like I, I mean, I get the commentary like, oh, like you might be big and bad or whatever. Or I might whatever persona I might get from different people that don't even know me, whatever. But it's
Yep.
like at the end of the day, I'm still human. I'm not trying to be tough, whatever. Like I'm damn near 40 years old. Like we not even knowing that. But
Just
it's
a
like,
baby.
yeah, yeah. But it's the fact that it's just like I, that tough. So I'm not even there. That's not my
Yeah.
mind frame, whatever.
Mm-mm.
But it's like I just want to be respected. I just want to be Rashawn. It's like so it's I'm not there, but don't try to play in my face. Don't try to disrespect me. Like just if you want BS, stay over there. I'm cool. Like
Hmm.
if you know that's what you want, respect me enough to be like, I ain't even gonna try it with him.
Or not.
Like,
You get to remove yourself, right?
yeah,
Because again, we can't control or dictate how other people are going to show up, how other people are going to act. But at the end of the day, you can say, I got way too much to lose. I'm out of here.
yeah,
That doesn't make you weak for saying I'm leaving. It just
hmm,
means I don't got time for this,
yeah.
you know? And I get to choose.
That's true
I
too.
can pack my stuff up.
That's true. I dealt that even in the content space.
Hmm.
I had a situation and me and somebody we bumped heads, whatever. But it's like they handle business on one kind of way. I handle business a certain kind of way, and we from two different worlds. And
Yeah,
it's like, you know what? You grimy, you slime, you stay over there. It is what it is. And like I just cut off my access with you, and that'd be that. But I don't have to work with you ever again.
you don't. But then there's also grief that comes with that. That's a grief
It
that
is.
people don't talk
It
about
is
either.
because I battled that a lot. Like even in my own it's like personal sessions, I was like, yo, like how I was willing to handle it. I was like, I know that wasn't gonna be the best way, but like
Yeah.
that impulse was there, and I'm like, you didn't come this far just to come this far.
Yeah.
Like okay, you learned all these skills. You gonna have to try to implement them to see if they work. I'm not gonna say it happened overnight, but it
It
been working.
doesn't.
Like
Yeah.
and I do gotta pray about it though too. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like just take those feelings off my heart because like I can't let vengeance consume me.
Mm-mm.
That might sound corny. I've seen it on Black Panther or something like that, but it's a real thing though
It
because like
is.
it was bothering me because like I felt like at one point you played in my face and I'm not used to that. Like I'm not on Power and Ghost who like yo listen you'll never see me coming. Like I'm not gonna talk about it on social media. I'm not gonna do none of that. But it's just like some people you gotta show them stop playing with me. But I'm like if I show you I'm gonna lose out on so much. Like my child ain't gonna have a father. I'm gonna lose my freedom. It's not even worth it. So you
It's
know
not
what?
worth it.
Just cut the access off, and like you know
Hmm.
what? Just put in the work, and I feel like success is the best revenge.
It is. And
And
you
I,
don't have to talk about it. They'll see it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's
yeah,
like, yeah, and I'm a big fan of that. Like if somebody does you dirty, well,
I'm,
I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna cuss you out.
I,
Like I'm just not.
I seen so many snakes in doing content
Mhm.
recently. It's just like I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted to talk shit a little bit in interviews and do a couple shows
Yep.
and just be in my own bubble. Like I really live in a bubble in my own world, whatever. So I'm not green at all, but I think just being honest, I think I was green to how people will really be snakes to
Mhm.
some degree, just for a couple of likes or just a little
Oh,
a
yeah.
look, whatever. And I'm like, I wasn't on that. So it's like when it hit me and I didn't see it, but I was kind of warned,
Mhm.
but I ignored certain signs as being always real. And then it was like, damn, oh now it's my turn. And then
But you also feel like if I'm a good person, why would they do that to me?
that part,
Right?
that part.
So character is everything. Right? And I think that that's what we have to pay attention
Right.
to. So it's like it's okay if there's a bunch of snakes around. I don't have to become a snake.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's
Yeah.
okay to be different. It's okay to be set apart.
Hmm.
And I think that's something that we have to help our kids with
True.
too, right? And
True.
like understanding that a lot of it just comes from simply being who you are,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
There was a lot going on this session. A lot
That's
of jewels.
how therapy works.
A lot of
You
jewels.
know, and I always tell people I'm following, right? They be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over it." No, I'm with you. I
I'd be
promise.
like this with it.
That's okay.
So let me ask you this. So we at the end of the episode, more so. What will be some words of encouragement from mental health standpoint of somebody that's going through it?
Um, for somebody who's going through it, I would suggest seeking out therapy.
Mhm.
I always tell people too, like the first person you meet might not necessarily be the person you end up doing the work with, right?
Mhm.
You need to find somebody that is kind of in alignment with what you need and who you are individually. Like,
Right.
um, sitting across from somebody that's straight textbook, that's
Mm.
not going to work for a lot of people.
It's not.
You
Not.
know, I know for me, part of my style is storytelling, right? So I'm like, I got a story for everything, right? But
Right.
it's relatable.
True.
You know what I mean? I think that understanding the importance of releasing those pent up thoughts and emotions,
Mhm.
I think it's important to consider like the way that you think about things and has it worked for you thus far? So it's okay to say, this is how I am, and I've always been this way, but is it working for you, or are you damaging or burning a lot of bridges along the
Yeah.
way? Right. So being
I
able to
hope you can
consider
swim.
that. I hope you can swim. But I think
Mhm.
just starting a conversation. So even
True.
if it's not that you say, oh, I'm going to call Patchwork Human Services tomorrow to set up my appointment,
I see what you
right?
did there.
Yeah. But it could be, Rashawn, yo, I watched your episode and
Mhm.
it brought up some emotions for me. You got a second? Or
Yeah.
yo, you want to go grab a beer, or can we go sit at the bar and watch the game and just bust it up because I'm going through this stuff with my kids, or
Well, you paying, right?
but and I think it's commendable,
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and
True.
I'm gonna go back to you. I think it's commendable, one, that you being a father who is raising your daughter,
Mhm.
right? Um, on your own, and you knew she needs to talk to somebody.
Hell
Like
yeah.
she's getting older and there are certain things that I can't tell her or teach her as a man. I need to put her in front of a therapist
I
or
remember
someone.
that day vividly. I was like, yo, I'm at my whips and like, yo, I need help. Doc, you know somebody? He said, yeah, my colleague got off. Give me a number, please. Like, I
Yeah.
can't take it.
But I think that that's so commendable, right?
Mhm.
Because one, being a dad who's doing it on your own, you're like, I don't want anybody to think I'm failing at this. So I'm going to just,
That
again,
was definitely my emotions.
suffer, and like we gonna get through this,
True.
right? Because I'm her dad, and so I think that alone has modeled for your friends, your peer group,
Mhm.
like, oh, he's about this therapy thing. You know what I mean? Being
Oh, it's
able
a way of life.
to be vocal and to say, hey, listen, I was in therapy, my 5 year mark, the water dam broke and I couldn't,
And the levee done broke the
yeah. And so,
floodgates.
but think about how relieved you felt at that point. And it probably was stuff that you had built up from being a little boy,
It was. It was.
and I get excited when people get to the point of crying in therapy. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because it
You
is,
like to see tears?
I do,
Okay.
because that lets me know that you're digging deep.
Okay.
that lets me know that
Yeah.
something is breaking,
Okay.
right? And I don't offer tissues. I say this all the time everywhere I go. I don't offer tissues. I always have them close by,
Right.
but I don't offer them
I
because I
noticed
don't
that.
want people to feel like they have to think. You talked about masking earlier, but
Mhm.
I don't want people to think that it's performative or I
Yeah.
have to hurry up and stop this because I don't want to like upset my therapist, or I don't
True.
want you to think less of me, or
True.
that I'm acting like a bitch, or you know what I mean? So no, it's
Oh,
like
bitch.
let those tears flow because you need that release,
That's true.
and so I get excited because when somebody breaks a tear in my sessions, I'm like, God,
Mm.
you
Ah,
know.
got him.
But it's so good, and I always praise
Yeah.
people at the end of it because I know that it's a good feeling,
Yeah.
and I know that the
You
way
worked
that
for that
life
one.
shows up,
Yeah,
yeah, and
definitely
so
worked
you
for that
have
one.
to pat yourself on the back for it. And so I would just encourage people to give it a try. Like, don't shun it because
Yeah.
culturally we've been conditioned to feel like we're less than if we go and talk to somebody. We've been conditioned that what happens in this house stays in this house.
Oh, stop reading my mind.
And
I was trying
so
to figure out how I'm gonna say that to you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
But
We
that's
here
how
with it.
cycles don't get broken.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how trauma and generational curses
Mm-hmm.
continue, because everybody's afraid to speak on some things. So
And
I would encourage people, go to therapy, be the whistleblower in your family,
yeah.
you
And
know.
and black people, I have to say this, and I'm saying this for us. Just cause, okay. I noticed within our community,
Hmm.
especially with the older generation,
Yes.
they will feel like you're being very disrespectful if you do not agree with them.
Hmm.
You are able to form your own opinion. It ain't what you say, it's how you say it. And you can say it the most proper way in the world, and they'll look at it as disrespect because you didn't agree with them, and they know they own bullshit sometimes, or they approach with something is just always effed up. But it's
Yeah.
like, I don't gotta subscribe to what you putting down.
No, and I'm teaching my 13-year-old that now. I'm like, I don't care who it is.
Yeah,
You have a voice. Your voice matters. If
yeah,
somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, you know what manipulation looks and feels like.
hell
You can
yeah,
call that out, right? And so really just trying to build him up in that way. And I think that that's something we have to do with our young people,
hmm
to
I
remind
agree.
them that just because we're related by blood, you don't get the right to disrespect me.
You
You
don't,
don't get the
you
right
don't.
to overstep my boundaries or to make me feel uncomfortable. Right. And so I think we have to kind of equip our kids with that armor to know that, that's not okay. And think about it as adults, right? We got that later in life,
Yeah, yeah,
and most times we get to that point out of the repetitiveness of the disrespect, of the belittling,
hmm
or being condescending,
my
all of
God.
that, right? And so then we typically get to that point out of frustration. So now it's like you don't poke the bear so much, and now I'm blowing up, so now it is disrespectful.
So
I
you
know
ain't
you're
never
trying to wrap
lied.
this up,
You ain't
but
never lied.
but it's a
Um,
real thing.
yes. Truth of the week. Give somebody, give the people whatever's on your mind, spirit, heart, and I'm gonna follow up.
Truth of the week.
Mm-hmm.
um I would say we just did a retreat and we were talking about how God is doing a new thing, right? And I think that when it drops in your spirit that God is doing a new thing in you, it's important that you ride all the way out with that vision because He gave it to you for a reason. Some people won't believe you that
Mm-hmm.
this is possible. Some people will think that you're being irate or delusional.
Mm-hmm.
I say rock out and do it anyway. I think one of the biggest things is that we trust ourselves enough to know that if it was given to us, then the provision will come. So that will be the truth of the week.
I like that one. Lately, I can't top none of the truth of the weeks, and it's not a different time. I'm like, damn, they just coming with it. Um, I would say my truth of the week is be real to yourself before you be real with anybody else.
That's the only way.
That's the only way. A lot of times people like, oh, I'm a real one. I'm this and that, and a lot of
You don't have to broadcast it.
I'm not. And,
Right.
and who is these people? Like,
The proof is in the pudding, right? That's
yeah,
cliche, but it's true.
yeah.
Like,
I don't owe you nothing, but it's like I think your community and your people will find you, and they know who you is and who you ain't, and
yeah,
it is what it is.
it is.
But
And what do they also say? Like most times it's strangers, right?
huh, hell yeah, strangers.
Yeah.
So listen, if you ain't contributed over my house, I could care less what you really say or how you feel, for real, for real.
Hmm.
So you want to do something, put some food in the refrigerator because food high as hell.
Come on. Come
Food
on.
high as hell.
Yes. Yes.
But plug yourself in. Where can the people find you at?
They can find us inside the Claymont Community Center on the second floor, or you can stop at the front desk and just say, I'm here to visit Patchwork Human Services.
Mhm.
We are also on Instagram and Facebook. Oh, and we're now on TikTok. You know
Thank
it took me
God.
forever, but we are now on TikTok. And
You're a
so,
TikToker.
yeah, well, I had to
Hmm.
delegate that to someone else because I'm
It's a lot.
yeah,
It's a lot.
Instagram and Facebook was just enough for me,
It's a
but to add something
lot.
else to the mix, but we are on all social media platforms
Okay.
under Patchwork Human Services. So yeah, check us out, follow us, and for the men out there, if you're ready to get started with therapy, come give us a call.
I like that.
Yeah.
So niggas, pull up.
Pull up.
Pull up and get your tissues because you're gonna be a cry and something.
That's not true. That's not true.
At some point you will.
At some
We
point.
do the work.
Yeah. But pull
But
up.
pull up.
Yeah, that's it.
Table mates, we out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We working. We are working. Dr. Ebony, I'm going to keep saying it because it's coming.
It's coming.
We are
I got a
out of here.
year.
We are out of here.
Yes.
We out. Good one. Good one. Good one. Yeah, buddy.
I'm gonna be like, "Are you trying to?" I think they needed to hear that though. Thanks for inviting me on another episode of the Truth Table podcast. I had a really great time hanging out with you this evening. It was such a pleasure to talk about the importance of men exploring mental health treatment. And so I can't wait for the episode to drop and for all of the men that you're connected to and that watch your podcast to call Patchwork Human Services about getting started with therapy.